The last time Monique Daniels was seen alive was here at the family home in Moore, Oklahoma.
That was over 20 years ago. If you believe her parents, the girl ran away, and roughly 6 months after Monique disappeared, Angelique got an apparent call from her long-lost sister confirming as much.
My brothers were standing around listening to me. At night, my mom called all the relatives and said, "Oh, Monique called and she's doing just fine."
And just a week after that call, the Daniels family also got a letter from Monique with a postmark from nearly 200 miles away in Dallas.
She was married and had a baby named Chelsea. She just wanted to drop a line and let Mom know that she was okay.
But to some of Monique's relatives, like Angelique's Aunt Leslie, something was still off.
My aunt has contacted the Moore Police Department, wants a handwriting specialist to check the authenticity of the letter because she believed my mom wrote the letters.
Then, just a day before Monique's mom promised to take the letters in to be examined, there was a reported break-in at the Daniels residence.
The furniture was tipped over. There was some CDs missing, a couple little boom boxes, and the letters.
What do you mean, the letters?
The letters that were supposed to go to the police department that day for the handwriting specialist to check were missing.
But then Angelique didn't need a specialist to convince her that there was no way her mom could have written those letters. And the reason for that was because she wrote them.
You know, this whole story sounds crazy.
I do.
And that supposed phone call from Monique, also fake.
I wake up every day wishing that it didn't happen.
Angelique says her dad told her that after Monique left, her mom became suicidal.
He said, and the only thing I can think of is, what if we wrote letters saying that we were Monique so she'd feel better? And I did.
According to Angelique, her stepdad then said she faced jail time if she ever told. And with no letters, no Monique, and no one talking, the investigation had nowhere to go.
I was scared. I was really afraid for myself, and, I thought that I was going to be wherever she was.
Angelique says after nearly 2 years of lies, cover-ups, and the continuing mystery of what really happened to Monique, Angelique decided to run away from home, and she came here to Michigan to be with family.
I cried the entire way here. On the way from the bus station to my aunt's house, I told her about the letters. And she started to freak out. She's like, "Oh my gosh, what has he done with her?" And it kind of dawned on me that he might have done something really bad to her.
And she was about to get even more evidence she felt supported that theory. Because when Angelique ran away, her parents filed a missing persons report immediately, which, as the rest of the family was about to find out, was in very stark contrast to how they had reported Monique.
He told the whole family that he'd already filed a runaway report.
But that wasn't true.
That was not true. He lied.
Your parents never filed a missing persons report on your sister.
Until I ran away from home almost 22 months after.
Authorities questioned both parents about the suspicious delay, and Chuck even admits to faking the letters with Angelique. But police make little headway.
We never were given the opportunity for a lie detector.
Did you ask for one?
Yes,
So they refused to take a lie detector.
correct.
In addition, officers find a neighbor who claims he saw the girl get into a truck with a white male on the day she left. True or not, Angelique was too scared to go back home, telling her aunt her parents were both mentally and physically abusive.
The next day, went to Child Protective Services, and I filed child abuse charges against my parents.
And what did the court rule?
My parents were trying to get me extradited back to Oklahoma, but the judge said no way. I found out later that they pled no contest to child abuse and neglect.
With Angelique now outside the home and evidence of a cover-up out in the open, both she and her Aunt Leslie go public, appearing on various TV shows to discuss their suspicions surrounding Chuck and Candace.
She was murdered somewhere else and brought here.
My younger brother Andrew called me and said, "You gotta come and get me." He was 13.
He was to be the third of the Daniels children to run away in as many years. Like his sister, Andrew alleged abuse inside the home. And yet, when his parents left to live in Germany for the next 10 years, he went with them. Angelique continued living in Michigan, eventually got married, and over the next 2 decades, Monique Daniels became little more than a name attached to a phantom.
What would you say are the things that happened in this case that make it so difficult for you to investigate?
The 18-month delay notification to the police department, combined with conflicting testimonies and, no body to indicate foul play.
Then, years later, Angelique is at home in Michigan when she gets a call from the past.
And it's Andrew. And he's crying. And I'm like, what's going on? Are you okay? And he's like, she wasn't talking. I said, what do you mean she wasn't talking? And he's like, Ange, I was there and she wasn't talking. And I'm like, I knew he was talking about Monique. And I knew he was about to tell me.
Coming up,
I had a real eerie feeling.
just what did Andrew see?
She was still. She didn't look over at me or anything.
And
Are you Chuck Daniels?
Yeah, I am.
Monique's parents respond.
So what do you think happened to Monique?
When I saw Monique, she was on the floor of her, in her bedroom, her legs were crossed. She was still.
After that, Andrew says the boys left without their fishing poles in the pouring rain.